Torah Life Ministries come out of the world. Messiah people seek the truth.
Hello everybody, it's Paul Neeson with Torah Life Ministries. I pray that everyone's doing great out there. I had questions on my website. I have two different websites, or one of them is my ministry website, and most of those people know my views about the Bible and biblical health and so on. But then there's my health channel at Raw Life Health Show or paulneeson.com, and some of those people do not know my complete spiritual views. Some of them do because I'm very outspoken about it, but somebody asked on that health channel about my spiritual views, and I don't necessarily keep them separate. I keep my views and my health together because I believe that health is, or spirituality is a big part of our health and a very important part of our health. I think if we truly want to be healthy, we have to be healthy emotionally, physically, and spiritually. But I do have more videos about my biblical viewpoints and other Bible topics on Torah Life Ministries that I do not share on my health channel. But I'm going to do that a little bit different here, and I'm going to share this one with everyone because it's a question that some of you might wonder, and I'll give you the answers, and you're more than welcome to put your comments below the videos and also your questions. This question comes from Martin, and Martin asks, Paul, could you elaborate on your spiritual views? So obviously Martin doesn't really know them. If he does, he might be confused, which many people are confused by things I say, but that's another story. But he goes, can you elaborate on your spiritual views? Is there more to it than what's in the Bible? Have you studied A Course in Miracles, which integrates Christianity and Eastern thought? And then he goes on and asks other questions and makes other comments, which I'll get into as I'm answering the question. But the first one is, can you elaborate on your spiritual views? Absolutely, Martin. I thank you for your question. And my spiritual views, you go on to say, is there more to it than what's in the Bible? And the answer is no. It's strictly what's in the written word of the Bible. That's what I believe in. I believe from cover to cover what the Bible says, starting in the first book, Genesis, and ending in Revelation, and everything in between. That's what I base my spiritual views and my life on. There are many people out there in today's world that use the Bible as a reference guide, and they use many other books as reference guides also, but sometimes those books counteract what the Bible says, and I almost consider that an oxymoron. So I can't use one and another. And the Bible says not to pick and choose what you like from this and what you don't like. You either agree with it all or you don't agree with it all. People get confused about my spiritual views often, or my spirituality, because I'm Jewish, and I believe in Yeshua as the Messiah. And some of you might not be familiar with the name Yeshua. Some people call him Jesus. But that's part of the Bible, and that's part of the message in the Bible. So I'm a Jewish believer in Messiah Yeshua. Some people refer to that as a Messianic Jewish person, and that's my spiritual views and my spiritual beliefs. And if anyone wants to know exactly what I believe, I mean, I make many videos about it, but it's right there in the Bible. And you go on to say, have I studied A Course in Miracles, which integrates Christianity and Eastern thought? Well, I haven't studied A Course in Miracles, but I'm very familiar with it. And again, I think it's an oxymoron to say Christianity and Eastern thought, because from a biblical standpoint, they might have some things in common, but they're oxymorons pretty much. And again, the scriptures say you can't please man and please God at the same time. I'm not saying Eastern thought is bad. I mean, from a health standpoint, many of the health practices are wonderful. All I'm saying is it's different what the message is found in the Bible, and I choose to read and believe and follow what's in the Bible. Now, if somebody else has a different opinion or feedback about that, that's a great thing. We all have the freedom to choose what we want to choose and the path we want to choose. So that's the path I chose. And so you say it integrates Christianity and Eastern thought. Well, I wouldn't consider myself a Christian, and I don't believe Christianity today is following what the Bible says. I think Christianity today has mixed the Eastern philosophy along with many other New Age philosophies that have gotten away from the biblical message. So when I say I follow the Bible, I won't necessarily say I'm a mainstream Christian. Now, I'm not saying all Christianity is like that. But for the most part, Christianity today is getting away from the biblical message. And I don't want to label anything. I don't want to put names on anything. All I know is the Bible is what I follow. From a diet standpoint, it says everything I need to know about health. From a life standpoint, it says everything I need to know about health. It talks about diet. It talks about food. I even have teachings about health in the Bible. So that's what I believe, and that's what I think about. Now, you go on to say, do I feel that the Bible is complete and accurate for modern times? Absolutely. Why? Because it says it is. It says these instructions shall be important throughout all your generations. And I challenge anyone to read the Bible from cover to cover and show me one thing in the Bible that's going to be negative for your health. You won't find it. There's nothing in there that's bad for your health. It's the world's greatest health book, and that's why I follow it, because I'm very interested in health, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, and I think it's 100% accurate for modern times, and it's just a great book. And then you go on to ask Martin, what about Eastern schools of thought, such as Buddhism? Well, Buddhism, I think, has some beneficial things to it from a health standpoint, and I believe if anything's going to help somebody ultimately get to their final goals of what they want to achieve, then that might be best for them. For me, Buddhism is limiting, and it says in the Bible, you should know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Well, people that don't know the Bible think it really traps us and limits us. But no, it's the other religions of the world that limit us, because in the Bible it says, I can do all things through him who strengthens us. You see, many of these other belief systems around the world say it's up to us. They believe in something called karma. They say you give what you get. Well, it's my understanding that in our human flesh, no one is 100% perfect. So if we do good, we get good. But what if we do bad? What happens then? You see, what the Bible says, if you do bad, not intentionally, but something happens, you mess up, you make a mistake, if your heart's in the right place, that's why we have Messiah, Yeshua, to help us get past those moments. Whereas the whole philosophy of the Eastern way of thinking in the spiritual of if we do bad, well, then we get bad. If we do good, we get good. See, the Bible also doesn't say, ask and you shall receive. That's another misconception. The Bible says, ask, obey, and you shall receive. You see, an action has to take place. It's not just about asking the universe and getting. No, an action has to take place. Again, if you're not excited, or you're not ready, or you're not wanting the Bible message, I'm not telling you have to do that. If Buddhism is what you feel is best for you, then fine. Then at this point in your life, that's where you're at. But I don't think anything bad about Buddhism or other Eastern philosophies. I just choose personally to believe what the Bible says, because that's what benefits me the most. Not just here right now, but also for my spiritual investment for the future. You go on to say, it seems to me as though many of those who have the most profound peace of mind and the highest levels of enlightenment are those who practice meditation, which isn't really taught in the Bible. Well, first of all, to me, I get a different viewpoint. I see the most enlightening people, the people of the Bible, Yeshua himself, and the prophets of the Bible, and they were the most enlightenment. Now, if you want to call it meditation, if you want to call it prayer, whatever you want to call it, it's focusing and worshiping or believing in one certain power. Now, people that meditate according to the Eastern philosophy might meditate on something different, but in the Bible they do talk about meditation, and they call it prayer, and praying to the Almighty, the Creator, and praying to Him, and being in relationship and covenant with Him. And we can say it how we want, but I believe that my opinion is the most enlightened people are in the Bible, the prophets of the Bible, and Yeshua sets an example of how we can have such enlightenment, and such peace, and such shalom. Again, if you found that different, which you say you did, then that's fine. Now, you say here, how does your spiritual differ from mainstream Christianity and Judaism, which embrace organized religion and various specific cultural traditions that seem to have little to do with spirituality or establishing personal connection with anything divine? Well, I answered that question partly. I don't believe in the traditions of man. I think some of the traditions of man help us get away from some of the misconceptions that man is teaching that go against the Bible. So if a tradition of man could bring us more towards the message of the Bible, or can help keep us in that mindset of the Bible, well, I don't see an issue with that if we're doing it for the right reason. For example, when I worked on Wall Street in a 9-to-5 office job, you know, every Friday we would have dress down day where we wouldn't have to dress in our suits and our ties and so on. Well, the work ideas or the whole atmosphere was different on Friday. It was more of a fun atmosphere. It wasn't a work business type atmosphere. But when we come to work the other days of the week, we had a uniform, we had our tie, we had our sports jacket, our suits, and it put our mindset more in a business type mindset. Well, I don't believe in the traditions of man. However, if those belief systems or those traditions of man are going to put us more in the mindset to draw us closer to our wonderful Creator, well then I say it's okay. But I don't follow the traditions of man, and that be the traditions of Christianity or Judaism. I follow what the Bible says, and that's it. Now, a lot of people can say what they want, can think what they want. I purely believe in the facts. There's a lot of questions about spirituality, about what's going to happen in the future, and so on. And there's also questions if the Bible itself is a factual book or is it a made-up book. Well, every known artifact that's been found in Israel matches exactly to the specifications of the Bible and exactly the measurements, the location, and everything else that they say. So for me, that's factual enough. I mean, they found where the ocean was split and the Israelites went through the ocean. They found out where that was. They found Noah's Ark, and they found all these temples and other buildings that they talk about in the scriptures. For me, that is not fiction. That is factual. That is made up. It is true information that's made up based on the facts. And I believe in facts, folks. And people can believe what they want. They can think what they want. For me, I'm a factual person, and I just believe in the facts. What does spirituality mean to me? Well, it's connecting with the divine and being in a relationship with the divine, but understanding the divine gives us instructions and guidelines how to live our life and model our life. It's not based on our own feelings, on what we feel is best in our own flesh. It's separating from our human flesh and taking on the spirit of Yeshua, the spirit of Messiah. And I think the Eastern philosophy today is to go by how do we feel, what do we feel is best. Well, how we feel can get us in a lot of trouble. Understand, folks, our feelings are supposed to warn us when something is wrong to keep us out of danger, but it's not to dictate how we live, because that can get us in danger. I believe that we should try to separate ourselves from our fleshly desires and take on the desires of our Creator Yahweh, which some people might know as God. There's only one Creator, folks, and there are many holy men in scriptures and many other holy men around the world. There are many prophets, but there's only one Creator. And His Son Yeshua set as a model for us for how we should live. He gave us the Torah, which is the guidelines and the instructions. Now, I know I teach a lot about health and diet, and everything I do really comes down to my ministry is all about health. But your question was about my spiritual thoughts, my spiritual philosophy. And if you have any questions or comments about what I just said, I'm happy to talk about it and discuss it. But, you know, if you believe in something different than what the Bible says, or you don't believe in the Bible, that's your prerogative. And I understand how you believe, because I was once there. I didn't believe in what the Bible said. But now I do believe in what the Bible says, and I believe it's the ultimate answer, and my life, my health, and everything has been tremendously benefited by following that. So that's my spiritual thoughts. That's my answer to your question, Martin. Thank you very much for your question. And if anyone else has any questions about my spiritual ideas or thoughts, just post them below the video, and we'll be happy to get to them. All right, everybody. This is Paul Neeson with Torah Life Ministries. Until then, have a great day, and have a great time with your spiritual walk. Shalom, shalom.
Seek the truth, avoid the evil, learn Yahweh's way.